Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It is me, your favorite average runner, and I am here with another absolute banger of a video reviewing the HOKA Speedgoat 7. Have they managed to bring it back from the Speedgoat 6, which many people said was one of the worst shoes that HOKA have ever put out, or have they continued that streak with another bad shoe? Here are my first impressions, let's find out. I was lucky enough to be sent this shoe by HOKA themselves, but they're not going to get to vet my views or tell me what to say about this shoe. This will be 100% honest and transparent first impressions of the HOKA Speedgoat 7. So to start off, I'm just going to run through some stats because I know that lots of people like to know what's changed, how is it different, how much does it weigh, what's the drop. I'm going to tell you that right now. So in the sample size, it's 275 grams. It has a 5mm drop with 40mm measuring in the heel and 35mm in the forefoot. The midsole now is a supercritical EVA, which is designed to be responsive, much more responsive than the Speedgoat 6, they say. It is a neutral shoe and it has a Vibram Mega Grip outsole with these new heart-shaped lugs. So since I got this shoe, I have been so excited to run in it, and I managed to get out and test this shoe in the worst conditions possible and really put it through its paces. It was raining, it was muddy, it was sunny, it was hailing, it was a bit of everything, and I really wanted to see what this shoe could do. So I'm going to run through my first impressions, both things I liked and things I didn't like, and I'm going to let you know my honest opinion on this shoe. So let's start with the things that I liked about this shoe. First and foremost, the Vibram outsole with these new lugs, exceptional. I was in some of the wettest and most horrible conditions you have ever seen when going for a trail run, and that is an amazing place to test a shoe like this. It's designed for speed, hence the name Speedgoat, but I found the traction to be unbelievably reliable in those conditions. I was going through mud that was a good half a foot deep, through puddles, and even though I was trying to find as much dirt and mud as possible, I actually found that the shoes kept themselves quite clean in the end, and also my foot dried off really quickly. So all of the water that came in over the side, these aren't waterproof. I'm not sure if they're going to do a Gore-Tex version at some point, but these are the non-Gore-Tex version if that ever happens. And I found that my foot drained really quickly and I didn't have any sort of uncomfortable scenarios where my foot was wet and rubbing. So really impressed with the way that it handled the conditions. Specifically those lugs on the outside, they are pretty substantial. It's really impressive that they've managed to get lugs that big and keep the shoe as light as 275 grams. It's very noticeable. So super impressed with that Vibram outsole. And I think if you've run in them before, you know how good Vibram outsoles are. Also, little shout out that I got sent these just before Valentine's Day and they have a heart right in the middle. Very cute. I like that a lot. Nice one, HOKA. My second like, responsiveness. This supercritical EVA foam is exceptional. It feels like there's a carbon plate in here, and I'm comparing that to the Nike Ultrafly Trail, which I have owned for a couple of years. It gives back so much energy, even when you're losing so much of it through the mud or through the grass or any of the terrain really, and it just kept me going and kept being bouncy and responsive and feedback. Obviously, I want to caveat, first run, so maybe out of the box it's a bit more peppy and it will kind of degrade over time, but in my experience with supercritical EVA, that's not the case. And actually, these tend to get better with time. So I'm really excited to keep moving in this. The midsole is so much better than the Speedgoat 6 from everything that I've seen and heard. I think this is a completely different class of shoe, and they really have started to get back to what everyone loved about the Speedgoat 5. And the third thing I like about this shoe, the details. They have thought about pretty much everything, both from a style and a functionality point of view. There's a pull tab on the back that will help you get it on easily, and it's really good. Nice, obvious, clear, really helpful. There's also a loop for your gaiters. So if you are a really serious trail runner or fell runner, or you run just in really bad conditions, that will be really good for hooking up your gaiters. And also just from a design point of view, little things, I know they've always had it, but the Speedgoat logo, just gives that little bit of extra pizzazz that I think people like. And also it's a reflective back, so if the light shines on it, very nice. Same with these strips here, these are reflective. And like I said earlier, the heart-shaped bit in the middle of the outsole, I just love things like that. It's so nice. And the little heart-shaped lugs, I just think they're really cool. So from a design point of view, I just love this shoe. I think it looks amazing and I really, really enjoy just looking at it. And that might be sad, but I enjoy it. So you can tell me what I'm meant to like. But with any shoe, there are downsides, and I have a few to talk about with this shoe. Number one, and probably the most pressing thing that I noticed in my initial run, this shoe fits small. So if you are a size 9 UK like me, that's what I've got here, I would go up half a size. I wish I had a 9.5. I've been putting in time to try and stretch out the shoe a bit, and hopefully over time it will just give, but my toe is just a bit too close to the end for my liking. And they do say on the site that it fits small, so that is slightly on me for not thinking about that ahead of time. But I will say, make sure that you get the right size, because with this rubber bit at the end, it's very, very hard. And obviously that's to protect you. But what it does mean is that there's very little give in the end of the shoe. And therefore I was having some issues with my big toe just hitting the end of the shoe. So I'm just trying to stretch it out. And I'm sure over time I will just about fit, but I'm just letting everyone know it does fit small. So keep that in mind. Dislike number two, I just don't like these laces. I find that they're a little bit stretchy and they don't really lock down as well as I would like. It's frustrating because it's such a nice colorway and I don't want to change to laces that don't match, but I think for the sake of having a good lockdown, I would want to change them. Maybe with time and kind of as the fit dials in a little bit, I'll be able to get used to that. And I use a runner's knot in every single one of my shoes. I just find it works better for my feet, but I haven't found these laces to be amazing. So I think that that's something that could definitely be improved. I will go on about it forever, but the ridged tooth laces are number one. I wish they were just in every shoe. They're so good, but obviously they're expensive or something, because otherwise brands would just put them in. Surely they know that those are better than these. And honestly, that's it. From my first impressions, those are the only things that I found to be any sort of negative. That doesn't mean to say that I won't find other things over time, but the only glaring things were those. And that's really, really a testament to this shoe. I found it incredible to run in. So that brings me on to the overview and my general consensus of this shoe. I think this shoe is incredible. It's £140 retail, but you should be able to pick it up for a bit cheaper than that. If there's a discount code on sports shoes, for example, maybe £115, something around that. And I think that in that bracket, this has got to be one of the best running shoes for trails out there. I have tried quite a few different running shoes, and my current favorites are the Nike Pegasus Trail 5 Gore-Tex version. They're around the same price, and I think they're incredible because they're very soft, but they don't have the energy return that this has. And like I said, the Speedgoat is designed for speed. If you're racing any sort of trail or bad underfoot conditions, this is an unbelievably good shoe, because the midsole is like something out of a traditional racing shoe on the road. And you really, really feel that energy return. And it was so noticeable on the trails, let alone, I'm sure, if you got on the road. Now, don't get me wrong, with this kind of underfoot situation and the outsole, you're probably going to find it a bit harsher on those roads. But I think as a road to trail shoe, you wouldn't be far off getting this as one of the best ones. It is really, really impressive, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, a couple of things with the sizing and also just the lockdown with the laces, but they're pretty minimal things. And as a result, I would say this is my favorite trail running shoe at the moment. Like I said, very few miles done in it, need to keep going and see how it goes. And hopefully those fit issues kind of just alleviate themselves over time. But I think that this is an exceptional trail shoe and an absolute return to form for HOKA and the Speedgoat. I hope you enjoyed that review and the first look at the HOKA Speedgoat 7. I have also got to say one more thing. This colorway is so, so nice, and I don't think it's released yet, so please don't get angry at me if you can't get hold of it. Brilliant, brilliant shoe. I really hope you enjoyed the review. If you want to see more reviews and specifically which shoes, drop them in the comments and let me know, because I am very open to trying out so many different pairs of shoes. I love it. I really like just providing honest and clear feedback and reviews of these products so that you know what you're getting into if you go to buy them. Anyway, that's been your average runner. I hope you enjoyed the review of the Speedgoat 7, and I'll catch you next time.